Well, art holds a mirror up to nature, and nature has become a little rougher, I think, our social condition.
Have you ever wondered what lies behind the dazzling lights of Hollywood stage? What the stars we once admired had to endure for those in their 50s, 60s, or beyond? Memories of the black and white films from the 1940s and 1950s remain vivid, those evenings spent in front of the screen, where Greer Garson, with her elegant smile and warm voice, stirred our hearts. But when the glamour faded, what was left? At the age of 91, Greer Garson, an icon of resilience, broke her silence, revealing the 5 names that caused her the deepest pain: Edward Alec Snelson, Richard Ney, Frank Sinatra, Loretta Young, and Katharine Hepburn. They not only left scars on her soul, but also shook the illustrious career of a silver screen queen. Let us step into this emotional story, where dark truths are unveiled, igniting our curiosity and empathy for a bygone golden era, for the idols who were once beacons of light but also carried profound shadows. Greer Garson, born on September 29, 1904, in London, England, was not a name destined to shine. The only daughter of a food industry clerk and a homemaker, she grew up in solitude, finding solace in books and dreams of the stage. Her childhood was a tapestry of joy and tragedy. When she was 2, her father passed away due to a surgical complication, leaving her mother, Nina, to raise her alone in hardship. Summers at her grandparents' farm in Northern Ireland were rare moments of happiness, where young Greer ran through green fields, listening to enchanting Gaelic stories. Those memories shaped a resilient yet deeply wounded Greer, a woman who always yearned to rise above but could never escape the scars of her past. She entered Hollywood in the late 1930s, a time when women faced harsh prejudices and unrelenting pressure, with her role in Goodbye, Mr. Chips, 1939. Greer quickly made an impression, and by Mrs. Miniver, 1942, she became MGM's queen, winning the Academy Award for Best Actress. The film was not only a personal triumph, but also a symbol of courage during World War II, earning her adoration in both America and Britain. But Hollywood was no paradise. It was a battlefield of betrayal, jealousy, and manipulation, where talent came at the cost of invisible scars. At 91, looking back on her life, Greer had nothing left to lose. She resolved to speak the truth about the 5 people who hurt her profoundly, leaving wounds that never healed. The first name on the list was Edward Alec Snelson, Greer's first husband. At 29, while grappling with her theatrical dreams and family pressures, Greer was swept into a loveless marriage. Snelson, a civil servant working in colonial India, was a childhood friend, arranged by her mother, Nina, in hopes of pulling her away from the unstable world of acting. For a young woman craving freedom, this was nothing short of a preset trap. The marriage in 1933 quickly turned into a nightmare. Snelson revealed his controlling and possessive nature. During their honeymoon, he forced Greer to go to Germany instead of France, simply because she spoke fluent French, a way to assert his dominance. He was jealous of any glance directed at her, interrogating her over every minor interaction. The worst was his demand that she abandon acting and move to India to live the life of an officer's wife, permitted only to perform in amateur plays. For Greer, who had sacrificed years to pursue her passion, this was an unacceptable humiliation. Just weeks after the wedding, she left Snelson, returning to London with a broken heart and a sense of betrayal by her own family. But Snelson refused to grant a divorce for years, casting a shadow over the early days of her career, leaving her in a limbo state, both free and bound by a failed marriage. The pain from Snelson was not just the failure of a marriage, but the feeling of having her dreams stifled. For those in their middle years, Joey, who have experienced the wrong choices of youth. This story evokes deep empathy. Greer paid the price for her naivety, but from it, she forged the resolve to rise, continuing on her thorny path. That resilience made her an icon, but it also bore witness to the wounds she silently endured. The second was Richard Ney, her second husband and the deepest scar on Greer's heart. 12 years her junior, Ney was an ambitious young actor who played her son in Mrs. Miniver. Their love blossomed under the stage lights as they shared emotional moments on set. In 1943, they married, defying public criticism over their age gap. For Greer, Ney was a hero, a hope for a love that transcended all barriers. She believed that, after the anguish of her first marriage, Ney would be her true companion. But Hollywood, with its cruelty, turned that dream into a nightmare. Ney soon revealed his true colors. He was jealous, insecure about his wife's fame, and felt overshadowed by her. His outbursts became a torment. In 1946, while Greer was recovering from a horrific accident during the filming of Desire Me, slammed against rocks by waves, re-aggravating a previous spinal injury, Ney exploded. He smashed the door of her dressing room on set, screaming that she was washed up and mocking her career in front of others. Those insults not only wounded Greer, but exposed a painful truth. Ney didn't love her as a person, only the fame and glamour she brought. He wanted to live in her shadow, but couldn't accept her superior success. In 1947, the marriage ended in agony. At the divorce hearing, Greer broke down in tears as she recounted Ney's cruelty, his verbal abuse, and violent actions. The tabloids of the time turned the story into a sensational topic, but Hollywood sided with Greer. Ney, seen as an insecure bully, left Hollywood to pursue a new path on Wall Street. But for Greer, the pain didn't fade easily. She had given her whole heart to Ney, believing he would be by her side until the end. That betrayal left a profound scar, one she could never forgive. For older audiences, this story recalls times when the heart was broken by someone trusted. Greer, though strong on screen, was just an ordinary woman, yearning for love but facing deception. That pain was not just personal, but the price of living in a competitive world like Hollywood, where love is often overshadowed by ambition. Frank Sinatra, the legendary crooner with mesmerizing blue eyes, was the third name on Greer's list. For the 1950s generation, Sinatra was the epitome of charm, a man who made millions of women swoon. But for Greer, he was a nightmare she wished to forget. They began dating when Greer was seeking solace after career setbacks and the painful marriage to Ney. Sinatra, with his sweet words and captivating demeanor, made her believe that love could heal all wounds. "You're everything to me," he would whisper, and Greer, with her fragile heart, believed his promises. But Sinatra's love soon became a cage. He controlled every aspect of Greer's life, from her work to her personal relationships. He wouldn't accept her having a career of her own, unwilling to let her shine beyond his control. When Greer received an offer to star in a major film, a chance to revive her stagnating career, Sinatra didn't congratulate her, but tried to force her to decline. He showed up unannounced at the director's home, issuing threats to prevent her from joining the project, declaring she couldn't do anything without his approval. In a fit of rage, Sinatra smashed furniture, yelling, "Without me, you're nothing!" Those words cut into Greer's heart like a knife, making her realize that Sinatra's love was not freedom but possession and oppression. Greer, though an icon of strength on screen, couldn't escape Sinatra's manipulation. She felt crushed under the power of the man she once loved. When the relationship ended, Greer carried the pain of yet another betrayal. She never forgave Sinatra, not only for stealing her love, but for trying to extinguish the dreams and career she had built with blood, sweat, and tears. For those who have experienced toxic relationships, this story is a painful reminder. In middle age, we understand that love is not always the source of happiness, but a challenge that forces us to rediscover ourselves. Greer, though wounded, chose to rise, continuing her journey with admirable resilience. Loretta Young, a radiant Hollywood star with ethereal beauty, was the fourth name that caused Greer heartache. Once considered a close friend, Young turned out to be her cruelest betrayer. For a generation raised on Young's romantic films, it's hard to imagine her inflicting pain on someone like Greer. But Hollywood is a place where friendships are easily shattered by envy, and Young was a vivid testament to that harsh reality. During a prestigious event, just after Greer had won a significant award, Young publicly humiliated her. "Do you really think you deserved it, Greer? You're just a supporting role choice. No one will remember you," Young said with an icy tone. Those words struck Greer like a slap to the face, leaving her stunned, feeling as though the world had crumbled beneath her. But the betrayal didn't stop at words. As Greer prepared to sign a contract for a crucial leading role, a chance to solidify her status, Young secretly approached the producer, persuading them to reject Greer and cast her instead. This act not only stole Greer's opportunity, but also damaged her reputation, branding her as a safe choice rather than a true star. Young's betrayal left a deep scar on Greer's heart. She had once seen Young as a close friend, someone with whom she could share the struggles of Hollywood life. But Young, driven by jealousy, chose to stab Greer in the back to protect her own spotlight. Greer never forgave Young, not only for the professional loss, but for the pain of a ruined friendship. She once said, "She may have all the charm, but to me, she'll always be a petty soul." For seasoned audiences, Young's betrayal evokes memories of friendships broken by envy. In middle age, we understand that not all relationships are genuine, and sometimes those we trust most cause the deepest wounds. Greer's story is a reminder that, even in the glow of glamour, the shadow of betrayal always lurks. The final name was Katharine Hepburn, a Hollywood icon with 4 Oscars and a formidable personality. For fans of 1940s cinema, Hepburn was the epitome of talent and confidence. But for Greer, she was a never-ending nightmare. From the moment Greer stepped into Hollywood, she was constantly compared to Hepburn. Both were exceptional actresses with refined acting styles and independent spirits. But Hepburn refused to accept anyone as her equal, and Greer became the target of her fierce rivalry. Hepburn frequently criticized Greer's acting, calling her a weaker version or a temporary choice. In one encounter, Hepburn bluntly declared, "You can't act like me." Those words were not just a judgment, but blatant envy, a way for Hepburn to assert her dominance. When Greer won the Oscar for Mrs. and Miniver, a moment that should have been the pinnacle of her career, Hepburn's cold stare from the crowd made her feel devoured by her rival's shadow. Hepburn was always favored, seen as Hollywood's gold standard, while Greer, despite her many successes, could never escape those harsh comparisons. Their relationship was a silent war, with Greer enduring biting remarks and contemptuous glances. Hepburn was not just a rival, but a symbol of a ruthless Hollywood, where talent came at the cost of invisible scars. Greer never forgave Hepburn, not for the competition, but for deliberately making her feel small and unworthy of her achievements. For those who faced rivalry in work or life, this story awakens the pain of being belittled. In middle age, we understand that comparisons can erode self-esteem, and Greer's story is proof of that. She had to battle not only the outside world, but also the inner demons Hepburn sowed. Beyond these 5 names, Greer faced countless other challenges that shaped her life. 2 severe spinal injuries left lifelong consequences. The first, in her youth, occurred when she dove into a pool in France, fracturing a vertebra and causing chronic pain. The second, in 1946, while filming Desire Me on the California coast, saw a powerful wave slam her into rocks, re-aggravating her old injury. This accident not only caused physical agony, but also triggered PTSD, making her withdrawn and anxious. Those pains haunted her for years, a reminder of the body's fragility, even as she embodied strength on screen. Greer's career also declined in the late 1940s. After the peak of Mrs. Miniver films like Adventure, 1946, with Clark Gable, and Desire Me, 1947, with Robert Mitchum, flopped disastrously. Clashes with co-stars, Gable found her arrogant. Mitchum complained about her perfectionism, coupled with shifting audience tastes, pushed Greer out of the spotlight. Post-war Hollywood favored seductive, rebellious women over the virtuous characters Greer portrayed. She once bitterly admitted relying on strong lighting and diffusing lenses to maintain a youthful look on screen, a truth any star would struggle to accept. Another profound loss was her cherished 1942 Oscar, destroyed in a fire at her New Mexico ranch in the 1980s. Though the Academy replaced it, Greer felt heartbroken watching the symbol of her success consumed by flames. She once said, "It's maddening to be helpless against disaster." Those words spoke not only of the fire, but also of the times she felt powerless against fate. Yet Greer never surrendered. In 1949, she found true love with Buddy Fogelson, a Texas millionaire. They married in a simple ceremony in Santa Fe, and this marriage brought her genuine happiness. With Fogelson, Greer moved to the 13,000-acre Fork Lightning Ranch, learning to ride horses, mend fences, and write for a livestock magazine. From a Hollywood queen, she became a woman of the land, finding joy in simplicity. She also became a devoted philanthropist, funding the Greer Garson Theater Center at Santa Fe College and hospitals in Dallas, leaving a legacy far beyond the silver screen. In 1986, Greer passed away at 91 from heart failure at Dallas's Presbyterian Hospital, a facility she had helped build. News of her death sparked a wave of mourning from Hollywood and beyond. She was remembered as a principled actress who helped Britain and America endure World War II with her inspiring roles. But more than that, she was an emblem of resilience, a woman who faced adversity with a smile and unshakable strength. Greer Garson's story is an emotional journey, from Hollywood's dazzling heights to its painful shadows. At 91, she bravely shared about Edward Alec Snelson, Richard Ney, Frank Sinatra, Loretta Young, and Katharine Hepburn, the people who left unhealed scars on her soul. For middle-aged audiences who grew up with her films, this story is not just a glimpse into a golden era, but a reminder of the power of forgiveness and perseverance. Greer Garson, though wounded by betrayal, control, and rivalry, rose again, loved, and gave back. She is proof that, even in darkness, the light of resilience can shine, guiding future generations.